Carolina, it's so wonderful to chat with you again. We got a
So
chance to chat
wonderful.
last year. Pardon? I'm sorry.
So good to see you too.
It's so good to see you. Last year, getting to chat about charcoal, I think it was,
Yeah.
um, which was such a joy. And Toll is wonderful as well. It really is a great film. I'm wondering where the idea for it came from.
Well, first, thank you so much. Great to speak to you, and I'm glad you enjoyed the film. The idea came for because we are living here in Brazil. You know, those last years were so weird because we had a lot of things coming from very important people, even from the government, saying a lot of things that are so offensive to the LGBT, but at the same time they're so ridiculous. They're almost funny, and you get to be like, how do people believe in that things, like the minister of human rights would say that kids could not have like play with Elsa from Frozen because she's a lesbian and it would ruin kids lives. There was a guy who would say, a very important politician as well, that would say that the anus was something from the evil. I mean, it's, oh my god, how the people say these things. I mean, it's almost funny. It's so ridiculous. And I'm like, for me, it was like a case study of people believing in shit and reproducing it, and how it affects people's life, and how the prejudice against the homosexuals and everything has become something so uh, solid in the society that everything is less um, is more okay than being gay. Like the former president would say that he would rather, or rather have a gay son than rather have a dead son than a gay son. We had like a very famous murder here in Brazil that uh, would murder like little boys, and he said to the psychologist that he would be okay if he said that he's a pedophile, he's a murderer, but he wouldn't accept to be called gay. So, I mean, it was like a case study for me, and how the homophobia has become a thing that is so solid in the society, and even among people that are not that religious.
Yeah, that was something that was interesting about this film, because the homophobia is so embedded within it. It's not only from the religious community, but there's it, and yet these things are sort of held up against each other. We see this with the religious figures within the film. There's a hypocrisy there within them. I was just wondering for you. I mean, you talked a little bit about it, but with Brazilian culture, how is it that these lines become so blurry? Why is it so messy?
It's complicated, I think, because of religion and also because of misogyny. I think that uh, being feminine brings you close to being a woman in a very patriarchal culture that put men above women. So I think there are many things that are involved in this, but at the same time, um, it's something that it's not closeted. People are not ashamed of saying that things. Uh, so it's not even a crime. Of course, in the psychologists and psychiatrics it is a crime, but to other, like, if a religion or something like a cult wants to portray a conversion, it's they have a lot of laws that are going on right now, and they're trying to get it approved, but so far it's not a crime to do something like that, to offer a treatment like that. So everything is so informal, it's so not legally seen, these absurds. So I think everything goes together, but I think the root of it is the very misogynist and religious society.
You know, it's so deeply rooted in the mindset of Swellen's character. It's so interesting. and she makes claims that she's trying to protect him in this wild moment. I'm just wondering, from your perspective as the film's creator, just do you believe that she actually believes that she's trying to protect uh, Tikino?
It's a very good question because I think first of all, she's trying to protect herself for from having the guilt of having given birth to a child that is not right for society, and protect herself from shame. But I think she does love him, and she thinks that everyone will feel the same about him that she does, that he may suffer. But I think this is in second stage. First of all, I think she to feel that she has given birth that's to something that it's wrong makes her something wrong as well.
See, that's interesting that you said that, because one of the things that I felt about this film as I'm watching it is there's definitely this fight, and forgive me if I say this poorly, but it's sort of like with with some characters there's this fight for normal, and I'm using normal in quotes, because the many of the characters, the view of normal just simply doesn't exist. But or does it? Like, this is one of the things I thought. Do you think that that's even a concept that matters, or why do we cling to that so much?
To the normal, you mean?
Yes, to normal, to normal.
Yeah, I think again, I think we go back to religion and culture that was built based on religion, and a lot of things that were built to to be better for you know men, and what religion would claim. So this thing, the so-called normal, it's something that would always be in favor of the family, of the tradition, and to what religion would say would be the right thing to perform socially. And but it's a very interesting question, because I'm thinking while I'm saying, normal. It's funny to hear that, what's normal? I mean, everyone is different. I'm different from you, who is different from Emma, who is different from normal. It's crazy, because normal is a word that seems to be something that is right. If you're not wrong, normal, you are wrong. But what is normal? And it's exactly what you say. The society makes a conservative society like Brazil makes you think that when you are a homosexual, you are not normal. But why you are not normal? I mean, how? I mean, it's if it's normal to feel attracted to the same sex, it's not unnatural. Otherwise, no one would be. So it makes no sense when you think about it. So it's a very interesting question, and a very interesting thing to dive in, I think.
It's interesting too. First of all, the film has this wonderful dark sense of humor that I think plays so well. But each of the characters has the appearance of normal, normal again in quotes, but are doing, the living these lives that break those boundaries. It's really interesting. I say, I use the term boundaries loosely, but again, like, there's a sense of hiding who you are that seems to pervade all the characters as well. Um, I was wondering, from your perspective, I mean, what do you think it means to live into that sense of truth? Because so many of these characters seem to be running away from that. Even um, Suellen's co-worker, who, who's been married for almost 30 years, and, oh no, this is just, I've got my own life. She's got this other stuff going on. I was wondering, what do you think it truly means to live into that sense of truth?
Well, I think this sense of truth that people pretend to live it's what gives birth to hypocrisy, because you are supposed to be and to perform something, but you know, um, and to state something, but you don't actually live that. I think it's the root of our society, of the morality of the conservatives and everything. Because it's funny, as you said, the most conservative and the most moral person, the most religious one, is the most hypocrite. How do I say that?
Hypocritical.
Hypocritical one. I mean, she's the one who like fucks everyone. My husband does his treatments for other disease that he had. I don't know, and he doesn't know. It's so fine, and then she says a lot to her about her son. So it's like a show that you perform in front of people, but um, that you don't live. Which is the again we go back again in the traditional family, and we go back again to religion, and we go back again to the question that you asked before, which I think is very interesting, about normal, what's right and normal.
Exactly. Exactly. I appreciate that. Um, Carolina, a film is so much, it's just such a joy. I appreciate you taking the time. What do you hope audiences take away from Toll?
um, I think people see how the ridiculous of what they are trying to do with the LGBT communities here, that, it feels sometimes exaggerated, but it's not. As I said, there are a lot of people, even with a lot of power, that would do those things with those people. And think, I would say that the thing that I would like the most to happen is to inspire people to accept and support people the way they are, especially their kids. This is the thing that is important for them to train to live life and to be like strong and strong and honest and solid human beings. This is the important thing, without uh, thinking about who is going to think what about sexuality, about other sexuality, and this kind of things.
Amazing. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank
I
you so
really
much.
appreciate it. And I wish you the best of the festival. Thank you.
Thank you so much. A pleasure to speak to you again.
Pleasure to speak to you too. Have a great day.
You too. Bye bye.
Like you never